Creating a thin logical volume. Under thin provisioning, physical extents B's from a volume group Vg are allocated to a thin pool with a specific physical size. Logical volumes LVs are then allocated from this thin pool based on a virtual size not limited by the pool's physical capacity. With this, the virtual size of each thin LV can exceed the actual size of the thin pool, leading to over-provisioning when the collective virtual sizes of all thin LVs surpasses the physical capacity of the thin pool. Therefore, it is essential to monitor both logical and physical usage closely to avoid running out of space and outages. Thin provisioning optimizes storage efficiency by allocating space as needed, lowering initial costs and improving resource utilization. However, when using thin LVs, beware of the following drawbacks. Improper discard handling can block the release of unused storage space, causing full allocation of the space over time. Copy on write COW operation can be slower on file systems with snapshots. Data blocks can be intermixed between multiple file systems, leading to random access limitations. Prerequisites. Administrative access. You have created a physical volume. For more information, see creating LVM. Physical volume. You have created a volume group. For more information, see creating LVM volume group. You have created a logical volume. For more information, see creating logical volumes. List the names of volume groups and their sizes. VGS-O, VG underscore name, comma, VG underscore size. So VG volume group 200 V, volume group size is 46.98 GB. Create a thin pool. LV create hyphen type is thin hyphen pool. Hyphen size is pool size. Hyphen name is thin pool name. Volume group name. Replace pool size with the maximum amount of disk space the thin pool can use. Replace thin pool name with the name for the thin pool. Name for the thin pool. Replace volume group name with the name of the volume group. So create a thin pool. LV create hyphen type is VGS hyphen or VG underscore name, VG underscore size. Create a thin pool. LV create hyphen type. Type is thin hyphen pool. Hyphen size. Pool size. Hyphen size space pool size. Pool size is I'm giving around 10 GB for the pool size. Hyphen name. I will give around 5 GB. Thin pool size is 5 GB. Hyphen name is thin pool name. hyphen name, thin pool name, logical wall, thin pool, log wall, thin pool, and volume group name. Volume group name. Volume group name is wall group 200. So thin pool volume with chunk size 64 KB can address at most less than 15.88 TIB of data. Logical wall thin pool created KB bytes, KB bytes. Logical volume thin pool created. Logical wall thin pool created. Replace pool size with the maximum amount of disk space the thin pool can use. Replace thin pool name with the name for the thin pool. Replace volume group name with the name of the volume group. Creating a thin LV. Create a thin LV. Create a thin logical volume LV. Create. Hyphen type. LV create hyphen type. Type is thin. Hyphen virtual size. Hyphen virtual size is max volume size. Maximum volume size. Virtual size is the maximum volume size. Replace max volume size with the max size the volume can grow to within the thin pole. Okay, the maximum size that it can grow to within the thin pole is 5 GIB. It can grow up to 5 GIB within the thin pole. Replace thin pole name hyphen name. Thin volume name. Thin volume name. Logic. So thin volume name is logical wall thin pole. Sorry, thin volume name. Replace hyphen thin pole and then replace thin volume name should be the name of the logical volume. Logical thin wall. Thin log wall. Logical wall. Just I will give log wall thin wall. Logical volume name. Logical volume name is logical volume thin volume. Logical volume name is log wall thin wall. This is what I am giving. Log wall thin wall hyphen thin pole. Hyphen thin pole name. So thin pole name is logical wall thin pole. logical wall thin pool, and volume group name. So volume group name is wall group 200. So LV create hyphen type. So type is thin. Virtual size is 5 byte, so it can extend up to maximum size is 5 byte. Hyphen name is log wall thin wall, log wall thin wall, logical volume thin volume. Hyphen thin pool name is logical wall thin pool. Thin pool name is logical wall thin pool, and the name of the volume group is wall group 200. Logical volume log wall thin wall, log wall thin wall created. Replace max volume size with the maximum size the volume can grow to within the thin pool. Replace maximum wall size with the maximum size the volume can grow to within the thin pool. Replace thin pool name with the name for the thin pool. Replace volume group name with the name of the volume group. Note you can create other thin LVs within the same thin pool. You can create other thin LVs within the same thin pool. Other thin LVs within the same thin pool. Verify that the thin LV is created. LVS-O, LVS-O, LV underscore name, SCG underscore type, segment underscore type. So you can see log wall thin wall. It's a thin segment type is thin volume, thin logical volume. So it is a thin logical volume, thin logical volume. So it is a thin logical volume, and I have a thin pool also here, logical wall thin pool. So I will use the same dimensions and I will try to create another logical thin wall. LV create hyphen type is thin. Virtual size is 5 GB byte. Suppose I give 5 GB byte same size. Name is log wall thin wall 2. Hyphen thin pool is logical wall thin pool wall group 200. So sum of all thin volume sizes 10 GB byte exceeds the size of thin pool wall group 200 or logical wall thin pool 5 GB byte. One, you have not turned on protection against thin pools running out of space. Set activation or thin pool auto extended threshold below 100 to trigger automatic extension of thin pools before they get full. Logical volume log wall thin wall to created. Log wall thin wall to created. But anyway, it created the log wall thin wall too, but it says sum of all thin volumes 10 GB byte exceeds the size of thin pool wall group 200 or logical volume thin pool slash logical volume thin pool 5 GB byte. You have not turned on protection against thin pools running out of space. Set activation of thin pool auto extend threshold below 100 to trigger automatic extension of thin pools before they get full. Logical volume log wall thin wall to created, and I will use this command lvs-o lv underscore name comma scg underscore type. So you can see log wall thin wall to also created, log wall thin wall to also created. Creating a video logical volume. Video logical volumes. LVs use the virtual data optimizer video technology to enhance storage efficiency. Video LVs have both a virtual size and a physical size. The virtual size refers to the total amount of storage presented to users and applications. The physical size is the actual amount of physical storage allocated from the VG and consumed by the video pool. The virtual size of a video LV is generally larger than the physical size of the video pool, making it over-provisioned. Due to over-provisioning, the physical space in the video pool needs to be closely monitored and extended when needed. A video LV and a video pool are created as a pair and always exist as a pair. Prerequisites: administrative access. Procedure: list the names of volume groups and their sizes. List the names of volume groups and their sizes. VGS-O VG underscore name comma VG underscore size. So 47 GB is the size of the volume group 200. Create a video LV. LV create hyphen type is video hyphen virtual size is volume size hyphen size is physical pool size hyphen name video volume name hyphen video pool name volume group name. Replace the volume size with the size for the volume. Replace the volume size with the size for the volume. Replace the physical pool size with the size for the pool. Replace the physical pool size with the size for the pool. Replace the video volume name. Replace the video volume name with the name for your video volume. Replace the video volume name with the name for your video volume. Replace the video pool name with the name for your video pool. Replace the video pool name with the name for your video pool. Replace volume group name with the name of the volume group. Replace volume group name with the name of the volume group. LV create hyphen type of the logical volume is video hyphen virtual size is the replace the volume size with the size for the volume, meaning 1 GB is the size of the volume, 1 GB virtual size, logical volume size is 1 GB, hyphen size space physical pool size. I'm giving physical pool size as 5 GB, physical pool size is 5 GB, hyphen name, video volume name, video volume name, log video log wall video wall, logical volume video volume name hyphen video pool, video pool name Video pool name. Video pool. I'm giving the name as video pool. Log wall. Logical volume. Video pool. Logical volume video pool. Volume group name. Volume group name is wall group 200. Logical volume wall. Log wall video wall created. Sum of all thin volume sizes 10 GB exceeds the size of thin pools. 5 GB are not turned on. Protection against thin pools running out of space. Set activation or thin pool auto extend threshold below 100 to trigger automatic extension of thin pools before they get full. The video volume can address 2 GB in one data slab. It can grow to at most 16 TB of physical storage in 8192 slabs. If a larger maximum size might be needed, use bigger slabs volume. Sum of all thin volume sizes exceeds the size of the thin pools. You have not turned on protection against thin pools running out of space. Sets activation or a thin pool auto extend threshold below 100 or trigger automatic extension of thin pools before they get full. Logical volume log wall video volume created. Activation of thin pool auto extend threshold. Verify that the video LV is created. LVS-O name comma segment underscore type comma size. So log wall video pool is created. Type is video pool 5 GB is the size and log wall video wall is created. The type is video size is 1 GB. Here it says video pool name is video 5 GB and video volume name is also 5 GB. Okay. Resizing logical volumes.